Yo, what is up, guys? GZTV here, back with another broadcast. It was my birthday today, and some pretty decent NBA action on the night. So, let's get straight into it. First off, we're talking about the Celtics Magic. My Celtics get one of the biggest dominant games of the season. We won by 36. I have not seen us win by that much in a long time, even when it's a bad team. And we got it done tonight. Boston dominates. Cardiac Kimba, man. And Tatum obviously continuing to score at a pretty high level. He's not like the best percentage-wise, but he scores, man. That's all that matters. Kimba had 32. Peyton Pritchard continuing to play well off the bench. He went 4 for 6 from 3. Now, on the Magic side, Mo Wagner had 20. Mo Bamba had 19 and 15. He is an up-and-coming. He's a rising star in the league. Dwayne Bacon had 20. R.J. Hampton had 18 and 10. I've seen R.J. Hampton get a couple of double-doubles. We see you. Don't think we don't see you. But that's just a lost cause. No offense to Magic fans. Next, we're going to get into Trailblazers and Cavaliers. This game was close at the start, and Trailblazers just pulled away in a big way. They dominate. Dame had 32, obviously. Nurkic had 15 and 11. Kanter had 18 and 13, so both of their big men were playing extremely well. On the other side, really nothing to show. Colin Sexton kind of snapped that streak of scoring 20, which it wouldn't have mattered anyways. They were still getting smacked by a really dominant Trailblazers team. I'm so excited to watch them in the playoffs. Hawks beat the Suns by 32. This is one of the biggest surprises of the night. One of them, it probably is the biggest surprise of the night. Wow, I did not expect the Suns to win by this much, but this was key for them because they're right on the Knicks' tail, and we'll see how the Knicks perform in the next few games. We'll talk about them in a little bit. Great bench scoring for Atlanta, by the way. A lot of good bench scorers there. I mean, if we look at their bench, we're talking about Gallinari, Okongwu, Lou Will, Huerter. You know, those guys were scoring at a high level. All of them got double digits off the bench, which is crazy. Devin Booker had 30. An underperformance for Chris Paul. I feel like if Chris Paul was playing at a higher level, they would have done a lot better. But you can't have every game be a good game, obviously. So looking at the Hawks side, really the only big stat lines were 18 and 10 for Capella. Double-doubles are nothing new to him. And 16 and 12 for Trae Young. In terms of assists, double-doubles are nothing new for him. It was just a great team effort from their bench. And I'm telling you guys, this Hawks bench is like one of the deepest in the league. It's crazy. It's crazy how many guys they got coming off the bench. You know, even guys like Solomon Hill isn't bad. Do they have Chris Dunn? They have Chris Dunn on the bench too. This is one of the best benches in the league, guys. I'm telling you, their bench is dangerous. Next, Kings and Pacers, they're winning game after game after game, and I give so much credit to them because they're only 2 games out of the playoffs. Shout out to the Kings. I'm rooting for them. That'd be great. And if Fox comes back and they start winning games, hey, they might see a play-in the future, which is awesome, by the way. But yeah, Kings win once again. DeLon Wright and Marvin Bagley with big nights. Marvin Bagley had 31 and 12. DeLon Wright had 23. Obviously, Buddy Hield, their second option, really wasn't shooting the ball too well, so they just relied on DeLon Wright and Marvin Bagley. They went out there and killed it. So shout out to them. Looking at the Pacers side, Sabonis had 17 and 13. He's been playing pretty well over the last few games. I wouldn't say that's a weak night from him. Karis LeVert should probably... I mean, if the Pacers want to win games like this, you need Karis LeVert performing pretty well. McDermott didn't play too bad. Maybe just shoot better as a team. 36 from 3. I mean, in today's league standards, that's okay at best. Okay, next was Sixers and Rockets. I didn't expect much of this. Sixers obviously win. Rockets only had 7 guys in their rotation. Let me name them out for you guys. Okay, their starters were Kelly Olynyk I don't know who this Jeffrey guy is. Daquan Jeffries. They had Kenyon Martin Jr. They had Avery Bradley, and they had KPJ, who, by the way, has been playing great recently. And on their bench, they had Aaron Brooks. Armani Brooks. They had Armani Brooks, and they had Anthony Lamb. I don't really know who those guys are. I just know KPJ, Avery Bradley, Kenyon Martin Jr., and Kelly Olynyk. This basketball team is so down bad. They didn't have DJ Wilson. They didn't have Daniel House. They didn't have Jason Tate. They didn't have Christian Wood or DJ Augustin. Crazy. Health and safety protocols for 2 of them. Ankle soreness. Why do they have the same injuries? That is sus. Daniel House and Wood have the same injuries, and Jason Tate and DJ Wilson had the same injuries. It was a coach's decision for DJ Augustin to not play, which is interesting because, I mean, you want to get as many players playing as you can. Sixers dominate, obviously. Let's look at the box score here. Joel Embiid having another MVP night of 34 and 12. On the Rockets side, Kelly Olynyk had 27 and 11. Shout out to him. Good night for him. Kenyon Martin Jr. had 23 and 10. Shout out to him. Good for him. And off the bench, they had 44 bench points with 2 guys. Between 2 bench players, they had 42 bench points. Lamb put up 22 and Brooks put up 20. So shout out to those guys for having a 7-man rotation. 115 points is crazy. That's actually crazy, and I give the Rockets so much credit. I mean, this Philadelphia 76ers team's absolutely insane this year. But, yeah, let's move on. Wizards and Bucks. Man, I was really hoping the Wizards would have won this one, but give props to them where it's due. They kept it close against a potential top 8 team in the league. If I had to say, probably top 7 or 8 team in the league. Wizards will lose a close one. 42 for Beal. Yep, you heard that right. Beal is back scoring 40-pointers, which is great, but they still lost, which is a shame. I can't really find anyone to blame for their loss. I mean, Alex Len is really not that good of a player, so I can't expect much from him. No one to blame. Ish Smith had 2 points in 22 minutes. Maybe blame him. Russell Westbrook had 29, 17, and 12. Another triple-double. He might break the record this year. I think he is going to. And Daniel Gafford had 12 and 10 off the bench. Daniel Gafford is starting to become a really good center in the NBA. Looking on the other side, Antetokounmpo had 23. Holiday had 29. Big night for him. He stepped up. Good for him. Holiday's an elite guy, but when you're playing the shadows of Antetokounmpo, it's really hard to burst off in big scoring nights like that, so shout out to him. Next is Grizzlies and Timberwolves. This was a really good game, probably the best game of the night. 37 and 10 for Ja, and an essential Grizzlies win. This was big for them. Edwards had 42, definitely rookie of the year by far. Screw LaMelo Ball, like, no offense, but dude, screw you. You're not putting up 42 points like Edwards is. You're just not doing it. Looking at the box score, Kyle Anderson had 20. Shout out to him. 37 and 10 for Morant. Off the bench, Bane, man. I'm telling you, this Desmond Bane guy, watch out. He's a beast. He had 22. Brandon Clark had 12 and 10, double-double off the bench. Good for him. Anthony Edwards had 42. Karl Anthony Towns had 22. D'Angelo Russell had 22 and 14. I mean, this team couldn't really do much better. It's just Ja was dominant, and Desmond Bane off the bench is key. So, yeah. Moving on here, we have the Utah Jazz and the Spurs. Spurs lose once again to a Donovan Mitchell-less Utah Jazz. That is not something to be proud of. They lost by 32. And if you look at the box score, like, this shit, like, there's just so many underperformers on this team. Like, I don't know what DeJounte Murray is doing, scoring 7 points. You need 20 from him. Kelton Johnson needs 15. Pirtle, he's all right where he is. DeRozan had 6 points off of 3 for 8. Maybe he was on minute restriction. Maybe he got injured. I don't know the whole story. Their leading scorer was Samanik. That guy they picked up from Europe or whatever. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's a good player, but that should not be your leading scorer. I mean, even Lonnie Walker should get like 15. Mills should put up a little bit. Like, they're very underperformed night for them. Bogdanovich, though, he had 24, and Jordan Clarkson had 30. Crazy. Clarkson is the best bench player in the league by far. It's not even close. Don't even try to debate me because Clarkson is the best in the frickin' league. He is the best bench player in the frickin' league, and it's not close at all. Anyways, moving on to the last game of the night, it was the Knicks and the Nuggets, and surprisingly, the Nuggets won by 16. I thought the Knicks would keep it a little close, but Jokic scored 24 in the first, so that was a big, that sucked for the Knicks. Rivers had 25 off the bench. That was another thing that sucked. I mean, Randall kind of struggled. Randall didn't have his best game. He went 5 for 15 and shot 5 threes and didn't make a single one. So yeah, it sucks. It sucks seeing him fail because, I mean, he didn't necessarily fail. He just didn't shoot that well. But yeah, a player like him, it really sucks to see him fall because he's come so far to be this good. So yeah, looking at the standings, the Sixers, thanks to the Bucks, are officially a full 2 games ahead of the Bucks. The Bucks or the Nets. The Sixers are 2 games ahead of the Nets. The Nets are a game ahead of Milwaukee. Milwaukee is 5 games ahead of New York. Atlanta and New York are tied at the moment. We'll see what happens in the next Knicks game. They need to win to solidify that game ahead from Hawks. Celtics are now on the playoffs. They're bouncing back and forth. You know what? Let's see who the Heat play next. Who do the Heat play next? Whoever the Heat play next, I'm rooting Timberwolves. Okay. Timberwolves have a chance of beating them. I'm not going to lie. So, Timberwolves, what is our next game? I think we play Friday. We play the Bulls. Nice. Okay. Celtics are much more likely to beat the Bulls than the Heat are to beat the Timberwolves. Please, Timberwolves, get this one. Clutch up. Ruin their playoff dreams. Keep them out of it. That's all I'm asking. That would be great. But we are a game and a half away from Atlanta. We're tied with the Heat. The Hornets are a full 2.5 games off of the Heat, and the Pacers are 2 games off of Charlotte. Washington is half a game off of the Pacers. Toronto is 3 games out of the playoffs, and the Bulls are 3.5 games out of the playoffs. Looking at the other side, Utah took the lead. That's big. They now lead the conference by a full game. And obviously the Suns are a game back from them. And then the Nuggets are 3 games away from the Suns. And the Clippers and Denver are tied. But Nuggets and Clippers are tied. Nuggets won the tiebreaker. And, dude, Dallas is 6.5 games behind the Clippers. I'm pretty sure the top 4 is almost guaranteed. I'm pretty sure this is the top 4 we're going to get. That's crazy. That's such a big gap. Lakers are tied with Dallas, but Dallas gets the tiebreaker. The Trailblazers are half a game behind the Heat, or the Lakers, half a game out of the playoffs. The Grizzlies are a full 3.5 games, so I don't know if they'll be able to catch the 7th seed. I think the first 7 seeds are pretty much a lock at this point. They're interchangeable, obviously, from 5 to 7. That's going to be a great battle between those 3 teams. Grizzlies are 3.5 games back. The Warriors are half a game away from Memphis, and the Spurs are 1.5 games away from the Warriors. Pelicans are 1.5 games away from the Spurs, and the Kings are a game away from the Pelicans. So they are 2.5 games out of the playoffs, which isn't bad. They're gaining some ground. They're not going to get removed or eliminated from the playoffs anytime soon. So anyways, let's look at tomorrow's action. I will be at work, but yeah, Bulls and Hornets again. Bulls are eliminated from the playoffs. They're not making the playoffs. Oh, yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. Hornets could possibly kick them out, though. Nets and Mavericks, that's going to be a good one. That's a game I'm looking forward to. We'll see what happens there, because if the Mavericks win and the Lakers lose to the Clippers, oh my gosh, the Lakers have to play the Clippers. That's tough, and I feel like they might lose to the Clippers, so the Mavericks might have a chance to get a full game ahead. Wizards and Raptors, I think the Wizards should win this, and I really hope they do. That's going to ruin some Raptors progress. Grizzlies and Pistons. Pistons are out of the playoffs, so Grizzlies, please take the game for the sake of your contention. Hawks and Pacers, that'll be a pretty big game. We'll see what happens with the Wizards and Pacers because they're tied as of now, I think. Thunder and Warriors. Again, the Thunder are out of the playoffs, so please, Steph, come in clutch and win that game. Lakers and Clippers might be the game of the night, the Battle of LA. That's going to be interesting. It's going to be a primetime TNT game. So is Nets and Mavericks. So tomorrow's matchups are going to be great. I think I should be able to watch some, but we will see. So yeah, that's been the broadcast. Hopefully